I do have shortness of breath for sure as well. And my chest is hurting. Definitely had something like his chest, and it's to the point where it's literally making my neck and my shoulders hurt. My chest is hurting so bad that I think that's what's making me achy.
If you take ketamine in very high doses, then it can also be dangerous.
They forgot that they took a pill and they took another one. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like they weren't like he didn't remember. So I'd be curious if the toxicology didn't show like an elevated level of his medication.
So it does seem that he probably had taken more ketamine orally.
Then he took an extra of something, or he forgot. And before we got on here and we were talking, I kept having like a sharp pain like right in the middle of my chest. But it's I don't know. I feel like I like kind of like an elephant sitting on your chest and you can't breathe. Like I can't take a deep breath. I feel like I'm struggling to breathe a little bit. There's something going on with my chest, and when that happens the way that it's happening, it's hard.
Ketamine has cardiostimulatory effects. What it means is that it increases the heart rate by about 30%. In the doses that were found in his body, ketamine will increase the heart rate by about 30%. It increases the blood pressure by between 20 to 30%, and it increases the demand, oxygen demand of the myocardium by about 50%. So in general, it's not a good anesthetic when people have significant coronary disease because it's making the heart work harder, it's asking for more blood, and these people, because they have coronary disease, struggle to get the blood where it's needed. So anything that increases the demands when the supply is not adequate is a bad thing.
My chest is hurting so bad to me, and they show me this too sometimes with heart attacks or when heart just stops. They show me like the beating of the heart and it'll get irregular and then just stops. Like that's what they're showing me. And
Okay.
there's also too like they show me like the electrical like electrical synopsis or whatever that goes through the heart. He's showing me that too. And it usually means that like something electrically was wrong too, like with the heart.
So if he had underlying coronary disease, that makes him much more vulnerable to the risks of ketamine, the cardiostimulatory effects. It's this thing you don't want to do in people with coronary artery disease. You don't want the heart to work harder. You don't want to create a greater imbalance between supply and demand.
They also reference the brain. Loss of blood flow or loss of oxygen. Maybe he might have had a little bit of dizziness. They keep taking me like from the heart up to the head. It's really strong. In my shoulders, it's really, really a strong feeling. So I'd have to say the heart's involved. Felt faint or something.
Says, of course, if you've got coronary disease, then it can, if you are creating that demand and the supply is not there, then the heart can go into abnormal heart rhythms and they can be very dangerous. So he may have developed a cardiac dysrhythmia as a result of coronary disease. And on top of it, the demands placed upon by increasing the heart rate and the blood pressure like ketamine does.
I also get a reference to like fluid. So I don't know if there's fluid in the lungs or fluid buildup somewhere.
Ketamine in very high doses can cause delirium. It can cause people to become unconscious. So if he loses consciousness, well, that's a possibility. That could just cause drowning.
But this is literally the worst I've ever felt with my heart. Also reference the brain. Like your past catches up to you when you abuse things. And not only that, but it's different for everybody. Sometimes people's hearts are weaker or whatever, and it just will catch up to you. I feel like there's a reference to, like, I just get a lot of pressure here, but then he takes me up to his head.